Good afternoon, everyone. It's been quite some time since I've spoken to you guys about, well, anything other than the RV and my new relationship, things like that. I need to learn how to look at you guys and not at myself. So anyway, it's beautiful out. I'm in a good mood. Alicia and I are good, and basically just thought I would do one of the requests. I've had a few requests to do how it is living full-time in an RV while having chronic illness. One of them was about my new medical device that I have, which is a whole different topic, which I might bring up at some point. And I think, well, I've had a few other comments, but living in an RV was like one of the biggest ones. A lot of the other ones I'm not going to do because I no longer do it. Like my medical apps I just don't use, so I deleted most of them. So I guess I should have done them when I was using them, but life takes over and you do different things. So Alicia's not feeling so well. She got her as my favorite show, the red devil in her belly yesterday, and this morning a really bad migraine. So she's in the camper playing some video games, waiting for ibuprofen to kind of kick in. And I thought I'd come outside. I'm literally right here with our living camper, meaning the one that we are actually currently living in. The door looks outside in the sun, and I'm sitting down at the house that we're going to take over. Whole different topic as well. And then her dad's current house is right there, and this is the other one. So today we are going to talk about how it is living in an RV or camper trailer full-time while having chronic illness. So I want to be like outside to record, but there really isn't a place to put you guys, and so I'm just kind of walking around, and I don't really want to walk around. Oh, Alicia's dad is outside and he's gonna watch me record, which is a little awkward. Where can I put us? Let me find a spot. Okay, so I'm in a camper, which is unfortunate because it's really warm in here because it's so beautiful outside. It's not like it's hot, but from being 30 degrees and now it's 60, it's perfect. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna last in here, and for some reason every setup I do to put my phone up, I lose the light, even though it's in the same spot but just in my hand, so I have to hold it. Anyway, so I've been living in a camper since June 8th full-time. Every now and then we have stopped at like my dad's house for a weekend, but that's only because I had jobs out there. And you know, with chronic illness and living in a camper full-time, it can be hard. Now thankfully I have chosen to do full-time RV camper living when my health got better. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like, okay, I want to live in an RV, let me wait till I get better and then do it. It was, I've gotten better, I met somebody, we discussed something, we were like, hey, let's try RV living for a little bit. It wouldn't be full-time forever, it'll be just more of a temporary full-time, and then we'll go from there. So it you know, it wasn't planned a certain way around my health, because this wasn't something that I ever wanted to do. I've always wanted to travel. Anyway, nonetheless, here we are about, what is it, June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months. We are in November. Actually, tomorrow, I think will be 6 months, because we got it June 8th. June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, I think it's 6 months tomorrow that we have been RV living full-time. And because of my health, it is a lot easier than most. Trying to find a spot to put all of my medical devices is an issue. I have to keep just enough. Sorry, I have to open the window. I have to keep just enough for my everyday living. Of course, now people are doing outdoor stuff. Sorry, it's loud, but it's hot. I have to keep the window open. I have to keep just enough inside, and the rest has to kind of go under or in the truck. And I don't want to leave anything behind. Alicia refuses to let me leave anything behind. I've tried, and she's like, nope, because if we need something, if she's gonna be nervous, I'm gonna be screwed. So under, I keep all of the bigger supplies that I don't use on a regular basis. For instance, my sharps container. So whenever I need it, we just bring it out right away, or we bring it out the next morning, depending on the situation. There is a box in there as well, 1 or 2 of them, that have all my other medical stuff. Alicia actually spent time separating and dividing everything by usage or by what the product is, so that when she picks up one individual Ziploc bag, it has all of my blue caps, and the other one will have all of my saline flushes or whatever it may be. My hands are hurting, so you guys are in a very awkward low position. Alicia's writing me. She wrote, "I love you, honey." Just now. I'm gonna write her. I don't know if you guys can see what she wrote me. That's her. And that's what I have her under. My love. Alright, so back to what I was saying. So that's how we have my medical stuff under. Basically what's under the cabin of the trailer or camper RV. I mix the names up. I know the differences, but I just mix them up. And now that we have an RV, which is what I'm in right now, I'm really confusing it all over again. So then in the truck, I have this basically the same stuff, but in a smaller box. I used to keep it in my bag, and it has changed up. But as you can see here, I just keep something small, and it will have a few more caps or blue caps or saline flushes or alcohol wipes, or literally any and everything I use for my port. I keep in the car. I also have EpiPens and IV Benadryl. The IV Benadryl is a whole different story. I never use them. I use them a lot more. I actually just used my first one, especially since I've met Alicia. So it's been 8 months. We've been dating, holy crap, tomorrow, which is funny because I remember saying the day that we got the RV, I think it was like our 2-month anniversary or something. So basically every time we have our anniversary, it would be a month more that we've had the camper. Anyway, so that's cool. It'll be 8 months tomorrow. I'm losing track, and then the noise is getting to me. Oh, so I don't really use the IV Benadryl any longer, but exactly a week from today, so it's Sunday, so last Sunday I got sick, and I ended up in the hospital for only about an hour, like from the time I walked in and told them I need to see somebody to the time I left. And the IV Benadryl did not work. But it's the idea of knowing that when you're in so much pain or having an allergic reaction, thinking about taking the needle, because mine aren't attached to the like, I'm losing the word, the syringe. So I have to take the needle and attach it to the syringe. So that's one step alone, which is not including take them out of their own containers, and finding them is another. It's like all these different steps that could be an issue. And then remembering that I have to pull back the syringe so that I get air in there, and then put the air into the little container, the vial, and then pulling back and making sure that the needle is just barely in so that I can get all the medication. Because I remember I used to be like, this is all the medication. I see a lot in the vial. It's because I never did that. And then also after, then taking time to push out their air out of the syringe needle, and then taking off the needle, because I didn't know you were supposed to do that the very first time. I thought you put the needle into the port, which, oh, mine is not in right now, the line. But you actually have to take the needle off and then roll and twist the syringe onto the cap itself. So all those steps I know now, but all those steps when you're having some sort of a symptom does not work. So the other day, meaning like a while ago, I did all that and made 2 pre-packaged and set up IV Benadryls, and they are in Ziploc bags. So if anything ever happens, I just have to open up the Ziploc bag and take off the needle and put it in. Everything is already set up, and it's easier for me, and it's easier for someone who doesn't really know and might go into panic like Alicia. Medication. Because I've traveled back and forth to Minnesota for so many times, it hasn't been an issue. I've always made it to Minnesota around the time that I would need medications or just before, so I was able to just put them into CVS and I would just pick them up and then we'd go on to our next journey. So now that we are probably going to be staying at least in Michigan, at least for the winter, most likely for a little bit for the winter, meaning we're going, you know, we don't want to travel in the winter. We may a little bit, but not as full-time. So as that's a whole different story, I'm not gonna get into it at all right now. I needed to find a CVS, and so basically it's as easy as anything else. You call the CVS that you want, or the pharmacy that you want to switch over to. Call them and tell them that you want them to call your current CVS, or call your doctors and ask them to do a whole new refill and send it to the new place that you want. It's easier when you go from CVS to CVS, Walgreens to Walgreens, etc., etc. I originally called my first location originally, and they're like, yep, we can do it, but it might be just easier just to call them. So I did that, and then they basically called one another and figured it out. So I was able to pick up all my medications here because we've been here for so long. Even if it's just for the 1 month, and then I can switch back to Minnesota or switch to another location, which is what I'm most likely will be doing. Not back to Minnesota, but a whole different location. So that's what I do with my medications. I mean, even if we were full-time and I never went back home to Minnesota and I went state to state and I need my medications, I would just call up, make sure there's a CVS at least, because that's the easiest way, and just tell them, this is the address of the new location, can you forward over my stuff to them? And then they would fill them and I could pick them up. Doesn't matter if your insurance is for Minnesota, for instance, and you are in Arizona. You're still able to pick up your medications because people do travel, and so that will never be an issue. At least it hasn't been for me, and I've asked and like, no, that's normal. People travel. Like if you went to the hospital randomly and they give you medication, like a prescription, you have to pick it up. And I'm like, okay. So that's how I take care of my medications. My medications are also in the camper. So in the bedroom, we have our own cabinet where we normally would put clothes. Alicia puts basically all her accessories, books and papers and electronic-y stuff. For me, I keep all my medical stuff in there. Our clothes used to be in there, but it just didn't work out. So now our clothes are in the bathroom. So on my side of the bed, when you open up the drawer, you'll see basically a whole bunch of those like plastic drawers. I have just enough to fill everything in there, and when I get low, I usually go under the camper and pick up more supplies for me to fill up those little drawers. Alicia has been excited to organize everything. She did it once, and then she now does it, and now she also fills up my monthly supply inside the RV from under the RV. And then my medications are in a little plastic container that I sit just at the bottom, and then of course I put them in my weekly little plastic containers that I can just pull out for Monday and pull out for Tuesday, and then they're separated and also divided by the day of the week. I like them for a whole bunch of reasons. I like the size of them, I like that they come out, there's a spring, but I hate when things start with Sunday. I know that's like the normal, or whatever the word is I'm looking for. It's when you ask someone like, what is the first day of the week? It's always Sunday, but no one, it's rare, like I guess it's a calendar week thing. I always go by Monday, so it confuses me. So it's just not me. I wish I could find it that goes Monday through Sunday, but right now I have Sunday through Saturday. But nonetheless, it works for me, and I use that. I still take cromulin, so I do keep them in its own container, which is these like metal things. I don't like them. I like to be able to figure out something different where I can just grab a pack of 4. I haven't got that down yet, because it's not a huge issue. The sun is behind me, so you can't see my face. I'm trying to I didn't really write any notes on what I should mention and talk about, as this was literally last minute because Alicia's sick, and I was like, you know what, let me vlog something outside of the RV. I'm hoping that you guys will be happy about that. I know a lot of you guys are here for, well, the medical stuff, and since I've gotten better, I haven't really posted anything. Anyway, back to where we first started. So with doctors, that is a little different. For me, because I am healthier, I only see my doctors, I think they request, it used to be every 3 months, and now I think it's like 6 to 8 months per doctor, unless I have an issue or something. And because of that, it's easy for me to travel, because I'm able to just make an appointment, you know, so down the future. And with COVID, everything was on the phone, so it's much easier. And I guess if you're in a different state, on the phone, you're not even allowed to speak to your doctor. And a lot of the nurses like, just don't tell the doctor that you're in a different state, because they legally can't say anything. And I've even had to think like at least one say, you know, we're not supposed to, but just don't tell me. Or something like that. They say, like, you know, that's just the state law, or maybe it's the law in general. I've actually never had that. I had one time where I was close to being in a different state, but it ended up being in Minnesota. So because of COVID, oh, hello ladybug. Because of COVID, I was able to speak on the phone, and now that COVID's kind of done, I'm able to still call and say, hey, I need an appointment because I need a new refill, and they require it. And I'm like, well, I'm traveling right now, can we still do it over the phone? A lot of times they go, well, if you're traveling, you're not in the same state. And I'm like, well, I am just traveling too far for you guys. So I've kind of had to wing it with, I'm traveling in the state, or I'm out of state, can we speak? Or I just wait till I go to Minnesota. But like I said, it's like 6 to 8 months, and we've only been traveling for 6 months, so it hasn't been an issue. Now, if I was really sick like I was, and COVID wasn't a thing, which means you can't do it over the phone, I can't really say what would happen, because you can't see doctors when you don't have like medical insurance through that particular state you're in. And since I have Minnesota medical insurance, you know, you can do dual residency, which is what I've been telling everybody lately. But that doesn't really change much. You still have to use that state insurance in that state. So I would have to probably go to like the ER, because legally an ER has to see you no matter what insurance from what state you have. So my situation's a little different. I can't tell you what would happen if I was really sick, or if I would have even done this if I was really sick, or if it would be that I would request my doctors to see me every 3 months and hope and pray that they do that, and then I'd make myself go back every 3 months. Because that's not my situation, I can't really talk about that. But so far so good. I've been sick off and on for the last like about month. You know, I've had my little iffy moments where I don't feel good, or I don't think Alicia understood. She would say, well, let's go take a hike, and you know, we come to understanding that when she's sick, she likes to keep active. And I'm like, if I'm like regular people sick, sometimes keeping active makes me feel better, because then I forget. But every time I'm sick, it hasn't been regular people sick. A few times, but very rare. And so I know where she stands, and she knows where I stand, and she's been there for me. And this past month has been, for like 3 days, I was throwing up. Almost wanted to go to the hospital because I couldn't keep things down. But once I kept things down, we felt like, okay, we don't have to go to the hospital. Even though had we done that, they probably would have just sent me home, because they would have told me, well, your case is too different and you need to see a specialist. And I can't see a specialist because I don't have Minnesota state insurance. All right, I only have Minnesota state insurance and not Michigan's. Thankfully I've gotten better, but there was about, I think it was 2 weekends in a row. One weekend it was like 3 days in a row that I was throwing up profusely, and I couldn't stand up. I was shaking and I couldn't speak. I was slurring my words. It was a whole thing. And then I got better for a few days, and then I got sick with that same thing all over again. I think it's happened for sure twice, maybe 3 times. The third time was only for like a few hours or something, and Alicia was there with open arms, helping me in every way I can. Lucky, stop eating all that junk. She's always eating crap off the ground, mainly green, and she keeps choking on it. She's always there with open arms, helping me in every way possible, and I'm so happy that I have her in my life. And I think because she's around, I'm able to live a healthier life because I'm happier and I see a future, and I want the future, and stuff like that. So she's definitely helped me mentally, and the fact that I'm traveling and seeing the world and seeing things that are beautiful, like beyond my experience and beyond what I would ever think. I just think it's amazing, and yeah, I don't know. That's it. I don't really know what else to bring up when it comes to medical stuff. I'm sure I will remember a whole bunch and have to take notes and have to do like a part 2. If I do, then I'll do that. You guys can always comment below and let me know if there's anything I missed. And I will make a part 2, or I'll just comment below. Yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I haven't really done much of this, and I'm hoping to do another video maybe tomorrow morning, because it's going to be beautiful tomorrow, and she'll do some studying because she's taking some beekeeping classes, and I can do something on my medical device I just got, and I'll explain all the other ones I got for the nonprofit and whatever else. So that's it. I will see you guys next time. Peace.